Hello friends, I'm Dee. About to react to this video. This is the most insane rich person behavior that you've ever experienced. So these people are going to talk about some wild shit that they saw or heard from rich people, from the devils. So we're going to see what they say. Let's watch.
What's the most insane actual rich person behavior that you've experienced?
When I started my career, I was the assistant to a top producing real estate agent in LA. And one of our clients had no budget. She's in her 20s, had no budget. She could not look at any of the homes that her sister had already seen, who just bought a house for $95 million. Because if her sister passed on, it wasn't good enough for her. So one of the houses we walk into, 66,000 square feet under construction. It's about half completed. We are in the 4,000 square foot master. And the developer is showing us that the hallways, there are hallways parallel to those. And he said those hallways parallel, the smaller ones, that's for the staff so that you never have to see them as they move about the home. And she said, that's perfect, because I hate making eye contact with the staff. And I just looked over and I said, isn't that amazing? I got in the car and felt sick.
What's the most insane actual rich person behavior that you've experienced?
I have so many of these. I mean, other than forcing the poor into a lifetime of perpetual poverty. My father was working for a company, and the CEO of the company was fucking incredibly rich. He had his own private jet, and one day my dad asked me to drop him off at the airport. I didn't know this was a private airport. So you just drive your fucking car onto the fucking tarmac and drop motherfuckers off. And I was working for my dad's company at the time. And I get out and I go help my dad out with his luggage in the back of the car, and the CEO comes up and he's like, oh, how's it going, Richard? What are you up to? I was like, just fucking to go work for you, bro. And he's like, hey, have you ever been to Seattle? I was like, no, bro, I've never been to Seattle. I always wanted to go. And he's like, well, why don't you just take the day off work and like get in the fucking plane? I was like, this is some big dick energy this man is exuding right now. I mean, I'm not an idiot. Of course, I obviously said yes. And my direct boss calls me while I'm on the plane, and he's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm on a fucking private jet, bro. I'm not coming in today.
Period.
What's the most insane actual rich person behavior that you've experienced?
Before I became an air traffic controller, I used to work in Part 135 on-demand private jet charter. And I did a little bit of sales, charter operations, dispatch, a little bit of everything. And we had this one trip where we flew this woman from Opelika, Florida to Van Nuys, California, her and her dog. Flew them out to California. And then the woman told us that her dog was sick and needed to go back home. We were like, okay. So we flew the dog back to Florida, just the dog, not even the woman. And we called the woman, let her know that the plane had landed safely and everything. And she was very grateful. And talking to her on the phone, we learned that the dog wasn't even sick. The dog was homesick.
Girl.
So this woman easily spent $40,000 at least to charter a private jet to fly her homesick dog from California to Florida, and then had to fly back to California to pick her up and then back to Florida.
What's the most insane actual rich person behavior?
My house was so big, I had to tell my dad dinner was ready by using the phone intercom system. And all of those dinners were 3-course meals prepared by a private chef. We had at least like 7 employees in the house at all times, including security guards, and my mom always was terrified that there would be an inside job and I would be kidnapped. When my parents got divorced, I had to live in 4 houses at the same time, and somehow I would get in trouble because I couldn't keep track of all my underwear. One time we took a 30-minute commercial flight from Boston to Nantucket, and my dad hated the commercial flying experience so much, despite the fact that state police officers helped us through it. He had the private plane meet us in Nantucket to bring us back to Boston. I never had to go to the grocery store as a kid. There would be a pad of paper in the kitchen. If I wrote something down, it would disappear the next day. My parents' divorce made the news, calling my mom a gold digger, and the comments were full of men counting down the years until I turned 18. I wasn't allowed to put my last name on social media because people would track me down and kidnap me.
The most insane actual rich person behavior that you've experienced.
All the tea.
An infertile A-list celebrity found me on a modeling website. Apparently I look identical to her, so she reached out to a fertility clinic and had them reach out to me and offered me $50,000 for my eggs. So I get an email one day because on my Instagram back in the day, I had my contact email. It was from a fertility clinic. I obviously looked up the clinic. It was real. It existed. And the woman sounded very professional. She said, hey, I know this sounds really out of left field, but you know, would you mind letting us tell you a bit about the process just to see if you would, you know, just be interested in hearing more information. So I'm a never say never kind of person. So I heard him out. Again, those darn NDAs, they could not tell me what A-list celebrity it was. But part two of the celebrity wanting my eggs. So I'm speaking with this fertility clinic representative, and she's telling me a bit about their client, the celebrity, and how she's infertile. It's her lifelong dream to be a mother. I would really make her dreams come true, and it just really felt like, you know, I would be helping her. Not to mention it was $50,000. So things escalate rather quickly, and next thing I know, I am getting tested in every way imaginable. I took so many tests, like mental health tests, like interview, more tests. And I'm passing them left and right. But I cannot begin to explain to you how many tests there were. There was a year of testing for this. A year that I unknowingly signed up for. Like, they're like, let's get started. And I was like, you know, okay. I didn't know it was going to be a year. Part 3, a celebrity wants my eggs. So during this year of testing, they actually had to fly me out to their clinic, which is in Beverly Hills. And this is where it gets juicy. I sit down with the actual doctor, Dr. Wong. He has some starbursts on his desk, and he uses these starbursts to explain the way fertility works, how the egg retrieval process happens, just to educate his clients, right? Very nice guy. They took so much blood from me. They took all my blood. Everything went well. I came home. But then I'm watching the Kardashians, and there's Dr. Wong. He's got his little starburst out explaining to Kim Kardashian about her infertility. This is some A-list shit. It was definitely not Kim K. She looks nothing like me, but I'm just saying regarding of who the celebrity possibly was. A celeb wants my eggs, part 4.
Girl, get to
So
the
like
story. Get to the end.
Over a year,
it's 20
and
parts.
I was really getting fed up with having to respond.
I'm getting fed up with all these parts.
And just spend like an astronomical amount of my time, and I hadn't even made $1 yet. So I just started doing my research and wondering why it was taking so long.
You didn't take payment up front?
So through my research, I started finding all these support groups of women getting cervical cancer from donating their eggs, and I just started really second guessing like if I really wanted to go through with it. Not to mention the fact that I would literally have a kid out there. So I just thought, you know what, this is taking way too long. Had they have just done it immediately and not given me time to research, what I probably would have gone through with it. But at this point, I was just like really frustrated. Like a year of my time, not even $1. All these tests. I got free medical testing out of it, but I did not go through with it, which I am very happy about. So that's it.
Girl, you wasted my time.
Insane actual rich person behavior that you've experienced.
One of my clients, I used to work at a bank. When I was going through my divorce, I was going through all this. I was depressed. They could feel there was something going on. So my client, I have many accounts. She had many accounts at the bank, and she said, "What's going on?" And I said, "Oh no, I'm going through stuff. I'm going through a divorce, this and that." She said, "Oh, let's go out and eat, and we'll talk about it." We went out to eat, and she said, "How much?" I was like, "How much? What?" She said, "How much do you owe?" At that point, I owe a little bit over $12,000 in cars, bills, credit cards that he left me, and I had 2 kids, and I needed to find a place. She said, "You want a cash or check?" She barely knew me. She was just the client. She just wanted me to be okay, which I ended up getting as a loan and paid it in 2 years.
These people were not coming with the juice. They wasn't coming with the tea that, I was expecting. So, whatever. I mean, towards the beginning, their stories were a bit more interesting, but then they got boring as it progressed. And that egg chick, girl, you said all that just to say that you didn't even go through with it? Listen, if I was her, I would have been passing out eggs like it's nothing. You want my eggs? I'll give you all you want because I ain't going to use them. So, whatever you want. But, yeah, the whole year process thing, that's kind of annoying. But if they would have paid me up front, I would have gone through with everything. But you gotta give me my money up front. You just got to, because you have me do all this extra shit, flying places. That is extra as fuck. And the fact that she didn't even take no type of payment, not even like half, like, girl, you played yourself. But yeah, I don't have a story of like encountering something wild with a rich person. I mean, I've encountered some rich people, but they didn't do anything like that's worth even mentioning. But I have a feeling that some people were definitely lying. People lie for TikTok all the time, all the goddamn time. So makes me wonder how many of these were actually true. Y'all let me know what y'all thought though. Let me know what other videos you want me to watch, and I'll see y'all in the next one.